Hello everybody and welcome. Today I'm making a bit of a bad decision and I'm deciding to go to the track for the first time in my car here, but I am not ready at all. So I'm rushing tonight to get ready to go to the track tomorrow morning. Why don't you join me on this crazy journey? So the easiest thing I have to do is to swap this aftermarket bumper back to my stock one. This one's a little bit floppy and I don't really want to run it around the track without a splitter to provide some structure underneath and a few other things for that. So for now, I'm gonna run my old beat up stock bumper. Let's get it swapped out. Start by getting the old lights out of the way. These are actually gonna be tricky to figure out otherwise because the stock turn signals were trashed. So I threw them away, seeing as how they were basically useless. So I now have to come up with some way to mount some lights and the stock bumper again. But we'll get there. We're not there yet. Out with the new and in with the old. Alrighty, let's see how passable we can get this here. Yeah, you know what? That seems fairly passable to me. Yeah, I'm gonna say that's probably good enough. All right, step one done. On to the next. All right, so I've got to replace this quarter glass with something in the meantime. According to the rules for the event, this actually isn't something I necessarily need to worry about, but the safety rules are discretionary, so I want to cover this up, that way no one can gripe about it. I tried to take this out to the drag strip recently, and they actually didn't let me run because of this, stating it was a safety hazard, and I needed to have either glass or armored window straps in here. That was kind of funny, actually, because they ended up letting a Can-Am with no window protection whatsoever run down the strip, but, you know, whatever, I guess. But I'm going to cover this up with some plywood and some creativity, that way it at least has something in here. I figure it's better than nothing, and we'll see how it turns out, if it's acceptable or not. Alrighty, I've actually got one piece of replacement quarter glass here already. Just going to use this to kind of stencil my general shape, and then I will mirror that for the other side. So we'll see how this goes here. I'm going to try to cut large, and then if I need to make it smaller, I can do that. Go. And I'm just going to cut this out with a jigsaw here. Alrighty, obviously I gotta knock that corner off, and generally speaking the whole thing is a bit oversized, it looks like. Kind of expected that based on where I traced it. But the curve is correct. I think if I just take some off this bottom edge and try to match that a bit better, we will be there. Alrighty. I think with that, we're pretty decent right here. Now to figure out how to hold it in place. I've got some ideas for that, but I need to mirror this piece first. Alrighty, so I've got my panels here cut, And you can see what I did here is I took some thicker stock and screwed it through there. Yeah, I took this piece and you can see I developed a curve on it to match that of the car by screwing it through to this thicker piece right here. Works pretty good, but you can see screws don't really want to hold in this plywood, so I've got to clamp it and glue it here real quick to hold that curve the rest of the way. So I'm going to do that real quick. And then you can see I drew where the inside edge lands. And I'm going to make some sort of clamp that clamps into the 3 corners on each of these. Probably just a screw with a giant washer, essentially. And I'm going to do that on both. I'm going to sand this and paint it real quick tonight as well. So we'll see how well this all works out. Alrighty. Stock front bumper back on. The half bumper. Looking pretty decent. Got mirrors on both sides. And glass. Followed by my wooden windows. Let's show you what I got going on. So this is only partially mounted right now. I'm waiting for the other knobs to finish printing. I'll show you what I mean. So you can see I've got a couple of bolts here. If this would stop hunting for focus. It looks pretty ghetto, but it gets the job done and even matches curvature. When it's all said and done, and bolting's done, it'll be sitting pretty decently flush. But if I go from the inside, you can see what the idea is here. I've got this knob that I made that clamps onto the edge of the sheet metal, and we will have 3 points of contact. And that's true on both ends. 1, 2, 3, and you can see my board I put in to create curvature. And that's part of what helps it hold shape, and then once it's all clamped in place, it'll hold shape all the way. Alrighty, well here we go. We're at the track and I have officially passed tech, so I'm good to go. And we'll see how this goes. First time out at the track, I'm a little bit nervous.
10 minutes here at the tent for driver's meeting, 10 minutes here at the tent for driver's meeting.
And there we are. And here we are, I'm back at home. I didn't end up getting any real footage or that many pictures of me driving because, well, I was the one driving. And boy, I had a blast. This was my first time out on a proper track with this car, and it was just so much fun. I am so glad that I was able to go. You know, I almost ended up not going, but I had a friend, an online friend actually, talked me into going ahead and going to this thing. You know, we had a discussion about actually being willing as individuals in today's day and age to go out and interact with other humans. There's these tendencies that everyone has to just not actually go and do the things they want to do because that's a lot of work, you know? So I was in that boat, and my friend, he convinced me to go ahead and go. Do those things that you want to do. And this was the thing I wanted to do, and I did it, and I had a blast. It was so worth it. It was amazing. It's an experience I'll remember forever. I went out there with my boys. They got to watch me run around the track, and they got to see all these cool cars. And I was able to support a local business out of it as well. There was just so much positivity that came out of me simply not staying at home, I guess. I don't know. This took a lot of work for me to actually get out there because I've been kicking things around for a little while, working on the car. And actually being motivated to do stuff. I am planning on doing a whole lot more work here on the car and continuing to go to these events as much as my funding will allow. I realized I didn't even actually finish the video. This is a couple of days later. Just, it took a lot to go out and do this, and it was so worth it though. The payoff was so sweet. I'm really glad I went at this point in my project as well, because this is going to be a really good baseline for what this car is able to do moving forward. It's totally stock, aside from, in this case, the wing and the chopped front bumper. If you didn't see the video about those, that'll be right up here. The wing I installed myself, obviously, and then the front bumper was damaged, and I had to remove part of that. But I'll tell you what, I am amped up now and motivated and ready to work. So stick around, and we'll get some work done on this car.